Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here tonight. You're going to learn a lot about our music programs, and we're actually in state prisons and rehabs and other facilities every week doing music therapy. And all of it and everything that we're doing at the REID Foundation is to heal trauma. Because trauma gets locked in the body, and so you're going to hear from others more about the music therapy, but I also want you to know about what we're doing beyond that. Because I believe that there's real healing beyond that which we have just scraped the surface. And so tonight I brought a very dear friend of mine who I think is leading an incredibly courageous effort. And in a few minutes I'm going to introduce him. But before that, I want to thank a few friends who are on our board. First is Dave Frecka. He's one of my dearest friends who's sitting here in the center. I'm going to make him stand up. But, well, you don't have to stand up. Oh, there we go. Dave, for 2 years in a row, last year when we had the Earth Harp here, the Great Southern Theater, and the event here tonight, he literally is responsible for sponsoring both of these music events. And so I want you to join me in thanking my dear friend Dave for his generosity and kindness. And also, many of our weekly music programs are sustained also by the generous gift of Bruce Daniels. And I want to introduce Bruce. I know I'm going to make you stand up too. So Bruce and Shelby have been incredible friends of the foundation and is also on our board of directors, and I just want to have a special thanks to him. My friend Joel Furno is also on our board of directors and shares with me a very deep commitment to the healing that I'm now about really to get into. So Joel, at least wave and say hello. And the other board members are Reed's mother, Lori, and his brothers. And he'll kill me for doing this, but I want everybody to welcome Carter. Evan is unfortunately in California tonight, but anyways, we have been really blessed with some incredible people, and God always provides, and I thank you, and I thank every one of you. So next, I want to get Bryan Hubbard. He looks a little bit like Jesus. So if you've met him outside, he's not James Bond. He has longer hair and a beard. But, you know, because of, I guess, an introduction from the Etheridge Foundation to the REID Foundation, I found Bryan, and he and I were so aligned in something so important. And it has to do with emerging therapies. And if he's successful, and we are committed to partnering with him at the REID Foundation, as he knows, in every way that we can and we have. But if he's successful, he will lead the nation's most significant trial study in America for the healing of opiate addiction. And I mean it. It's not out of our reach. You know, we've been using methods that have had 80% failure. I can tell you the studies that have been done at Stanford and New York University have had a 90% recovery rate. And in other countries in this world, it's already happening. It's beginning to happen. But Bryan was courageous enough to take what he's learned in the stories, and, you know, there's a little river that divides Kentucky and Ohio. It's a little smaller state than us. But the powerful things, and I want to make sure wisdom flows across that river to Ohio. He is leading the effort that Ohio must follow, and we're way behind. We haven't gotten the message. We had, fortunately, a very good meeting with the Attorney General, Dave Yost, earlier this afternoon, and we've met with Governor DeWine and talked to him about these things. And Ohio State University who some of the people are here tonight, is also on the cutting edge, wanting to really be a leader in this. And we're going to make sure that they are. We're going to make sure that the political leadership has the viability. And I can tell you, if we heal the trauma in every man, woman, and child, we will be able to make the world civil again. And that's really what we need to do. Create unity, create harmony, heal trauma. And that's the root cause of addiction. So I want to invite Bryan, who's going to share what he's doing in Kentucky. And all I can say is I'm prayerful that Ohio will follow your leadership. Come on up here.
Rex, thank you for that exceedingly generous introduction. And I'd like to show everybody here this evening that any similarity between me and Jesus is purely accidental and despite my very best efforts. My name is Bryan Hubbard. I am the chairman and executive director of the Kentucky Opioid Abatement Advisory Commission. That is a lot of bureaucraties for the reality of having the privilege and honor of managing at the behest of Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron approximately $500 million with which to combat the opioid epidemic, obtained from settlements from the companies which produced the epidemic over the next 15 years. In 1996, Purdue Pharma detonated OxyContin in eastern Kentucky and thereby created the gravest engineered humanitarian catastrophe that has fallen on our state since the end of the Civil War. A catastrophe that has produced generationally compounding carnage that has spread from Appalachia across the entire United States. Over the past 7 years, we have lost more individuals in this country to opioid death than we lost in the combined years of warfare over the course of World War I, World War II, Korea, and Vietnam combined. Wars fought over the course of 17 years. On May 31st, after months of research, with the brave, visionary leadership of the Attorney General, we declared our intention to explore the possibility of devoting $42 million of the Commission's money to fund FDA-approved clinical research trials with Ibogaine as a breakthrough therapeutic for treatment of opioid use disorder. For those of you who've never heard the word Ibogaine, it is an alkaloid derived from a West African root known as the Iboga root. It has 3 distinctive properties. First and foremost, along an incredibly accelerated time frame, it heals the neurochemical brain injury produced by opioid dependence within 36 to 48 hours, a process that takes 18 months for the human body's organic healing capacity to produce, oftentimes in the face of horrific withdrawal from which most people never escape. According to individuals who have taken Ibogaine to overcome opioid dependence, it also has a couple of other special and powerful traits. According to these individuals, it restores their sense of ownership over their destiny, which is the fundamental basis of any hope that one may have to create a new life. And more importantly, it affirms the reality of their spiritual divinity, as well as the unique and special purpose conferred upon their life by virtue of that divinity. Those of us in this room and those who volunteer at the facilities for REID recognize that the opioid epidemic is the most visible and tragic symptom of profound spiritual affliction which pervades contemporary American society. Affliction that is rooted in disconnection from our divine identity as human beings, whose fundamental elemental composition is that of stardust. We are at war for the minds, bodies, and souls of our brothers and sisters on this side of eternity. The only way we win this war is if we wage it for each other instead of on each other, with unity founded upon our kinship as images of an eternal Creator whose essence is pure, almighty, unconditional love for each and all of us. And so tonight, tomorrow, and every day thereafter, may the Spirit of our Creator be upon us. May we be anointed to bring good tidings unto the meek. May we be sent to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound. Thank you for the honor of your time, your attention, and your love for this organization. And I can't wait to hear this wonderful concert. Thank you, Mr. Elsass.